Welcome back, everyone, to 1 Minute Recess, where we break down everything that's going on here in Nevada and around the crazy-ass globe. My name is Annette Magnus.
And I'm Maria Teresa, your co-host. Boy, was it another week, Annette. What a week. What a life.
What a life.
Yeah. At least we made it another week, but there's a lot of
Hit
chaos.
and miss at this point. It's hit and miss.
True.
There's a lot that we have to go through locally and internationally. So shall we hop right into our viewer comments? Because they're always enlightening. Every week, they just get better and better. Welcome, bots. Welcome, trolls.
Yes. Thank you so much, trolls, for commenting and getting in there. I'm gonna go through some of the new ones and some of the ones that just strike us, like these two from definitely not the same bot.
Definitely not bots or trolls.
Yeah, same video, looks like at the same time, back to back.
You know what's funny is so why don't you fix fat? Well, you don't know what medical issues I have. You don't know what the problem is. Or it's none of your fucking business. How about that?
Yeah, listen, Purple Smoke,
I like
12.
being fat.
Listen, Purple Smoke, 1215. I'll fix my fat after Donald Trump fixes his fat.
Right. Also, I'm glad I'm fat and not stupid. Like you.
Exactly. And you can't fix fat either, clearly. We literally said in the video that you can. What you can't fix is stupid. So, sounds like you proved our point.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay. Moving on.
Danielle Santos about I9Z. The moron cabinet and Trader Trump didn't have the brains to realize the Straits of Hormuz is at its worst only 24 miles wide.
That would require planning, Neil. And yes, you were correct. There was zero planning involved. I mean, I wasn't shocked by it, were you?
No, not at all. It's like they were like, wait, what? It's not gigantic? It's not a whole ocean or something? But at Terrence Apel 812 says, y'all just stay home, please. The people living in reality can't handle your psychotic empathy. The only people that don't need ID in this country are the Amish. Other than them, it's only to commit voter fraud.
Yeah.
There are 350 plus million individual IDs on record. There are 350 plus legal citizens in this country. Everyone has an ID. That's a whole lot of delusion right there.
I don't want parents to go and Google legitimate sources, not crazy ones. How much voter fraud there exists, because it's virtually none. So good luck with that, Terrence. If you're so worried, then you could stay home.
Also, I love how I can't believe we only have 350 plus legal citizens in this country out of 350 plus million individual ID holders. Wow.
Math is hard. Writing is hard. Typing is hard.
Math is hard. So let's go to
point, Maria.
Let's go to TikTok.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Are we making America great yet? No.
Yeah. Are we making America great? No. Thank you for asking, Dr.
I like
Glinsky.
When someone pay my bills, then we will talk.
Then we will talk. Yeah, exactly. When Trump starts sending me checks for my bills, maybe.
Send me my tariff check. Where's my tariff check, Trump?
Yeah, where is it? My $2,000. When
What war did Trump start? Google
the one we're right now.
Currently in.
The one that the stripper just warned us about because all the fetuses that are getting deployed told her they're getting deployed on Friday. At Frederick, we'll end with this one. At Frederick Bastiat 3, when two wolves and a bunny get the vote, who will be dinner? Touting democracy as good is stupidity.
Oh, okay.
So someone was on something. Yeah. So that's the state of the internet. Yeah.
Well, as we say every week, the internet was the worst idea.
Yeah. We should have just stopped at Napster and LimeWire and nothing else.
When it got real, we should have just stopped when it was good, at its high point.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Well, now that I'm lost brain cells reading that, let's go to the local lowdown. What's happening here in Nevada?
Not much, Annette. The economy is great. That's why there's a spike in Medicaid applications.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk
But
about that. So, our
everything is
dear
good,
friends
Annette.
over at the yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's just fine. Our dear friends at the Nevada Current have this excellent article out today about and it's Dana Gentry who wrote it, about health insurance and Medicaid applications spiking by an average of 62% in December of 2025, and this January and February over the same months a year earlier. So the largest spike was in January of this year, when an average daily number of pending applications for 3 categories of Medicaid: family medical, aged, blind, and disabled, and unregistered applicants, those who have not been added to the state tracking system, jumped to 21,400 applications, up 79% from 12,000 applications in January of 2025. So, Maria, talk to us about what's causing this spike and why we're seeing this giant leap in Medicaid applications and people desperate for health care in this country.
A shitty economy, to keep it real simple for all our viewers out there. I mean, that if you take all of the research, for example, that goes into this and you whittle it down to the core theme, people can't pay for things. People don't have jobs because, okay, for the people that don't know, Medicaid is for low income people. And what does that mean? They're low income or without income because they don't have it. And so therefore they need help and assistance in order to stay healthy or to care for their children. So it's interesting that the economy has been suffering in the last few months. We've seen this indicator to prove that. But no, the economy is great, and that gas was $2 somewhere. Iowa's just fine.
What are we all complaining about?
Everything is good. I mean, there's probably going to be, I could just see it now. Next week, we're going to read a comment of someone, why don't these people just get a job?
Yeah, of course. I mean, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You don't need health insurance in this country. What are you saying? Just pay out of pocket.
It's so affordable.
So exactly. So individuals in states, so the other parts of this too are, we have Medicaid expansion here. So more people qualified here for Medicaid, which is a good thing. We should have Medicaid expansion. And that was done under a Republican governor so that more people could access health insurance. We also know that, there was open enrollment for the Nevada Health Link, which is the ACA option. And so a lot of people didn't realize that they were eligible for Medicaid and then were able to transfer over to Medicaid so they could get assistance. But again, yes, people also are having a hard time paying for things like health insurance. And so oftentimes they are seeking help so that they can get on a government program like that. Hopefully, the public option will help with this. So, Maria, do you want to talk a little bit about the public option and what we worked on before?
So it's called
It's
the
a
Public
pool health insurance.
Yeah, it's a pool. And the reason why it was created, it's a pool for health insurance and a proposal to create a government run health insurance agency. And this pool would be competition with other private health insurance companies in the United States. The reason why this was created, along with the need for more people to be able to have Medicaid, for example, is because the biggest issue with our healthcare system, both the quality, the access, and the affordability, is that one, we don't have enough competition with insurers, right? There's essentially like just the same companies that buy each other up. There's not a whole lot of, we have some local insurance here in Nevada, but that's in many other parts of the country, like that's non-existent. And so you need to diversify the pool of insurers. And you also need to diversify the pool. This is generally the issue. You need more people to be insured, because if you only have people that are actively seeking medical care because of whatever reason, you have an insured population that is going to cause premiums because they're needing to cover only sick people. But if you have people that are young, that don't have diseases, this is why during the earlier days of Nevada Health Link and the Affordable Care Act and this debate, there was this encouragement of, if you're young and have no diseases, please sign up, because we need a healthy pool of people to be part of the health insurance market, because the excuse, and it is an excuse, that the insurers are saying this is why we charge people what we charge, or why we don't cover, is because their pools are just old and sick people, to keep it simple. And therefore we need younger people. And that's why we need to diversify the market in its entirety. And the government and the state governments are the ones that need to do this through these public options and through these different ways of allowing people into the market, because the insurance companies aren't doing it. Like that free market part they're not doing it. They have done the complete opposite. I mean, what was it? It was a pre-existing condition to be a woman, basically, for a lot of them. So I know included a lot of other things, but that is an important part of the conversation for all of you people that don't want to Google this health insurance issue.
Which apparently is the vast majority of people who watch this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
don't worry, Annette. Everyone that has an ID, 350 plus million people, also have health insurance.
Christ. All right. Moving on, more depressing news. This is the story from the holdover from last week. We wanted to talk about this, so we made sure to bring this back on this show. There is a story out of the Nevada Independent, and it is a story about Lake Tahoe needing to find energy elsewhere. Lake Tahoe's longtime power supplier, NV Energy, will cut off the region next year. It said data centers are driving up unprecedented demand. So we held this over because I wanted to make sure we talked about it. Ironically, there was also a committee hearing last week at the Nevada legislature in the Nevada Assembly on data centers and like their impact here in Nevada, the things that we have seen, the things that need to be improved. Ironically, and I was irritated about it, this story from the Nevada Independent about NV Energy cutting off power because of data centers to our friends in Lake Tahoe did not come up in the hearing, which I find mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And what's worse is Rich DeLong, the assembly member from this area, did not bring this issue up while he had NV Energy sitting right in front of him, testifying about this issue. Which,
what?
Bro, I know you think NV Energy is your friend. They're not in this instance. And like, they're literally hurting your residents in Lake Tahoe. So, Assemblymember DeLong, do better. Is my take on that.
Yep.
Shout out to our friend, Assemblymember Natha Anderson and Assemblymember Howard Watts for putting together this joint growth and infrastructure, natural resources committee hearing so that both sets of legislators could really dive into this data center issue because it's a huge issue. You see stories on it almost every day now, both here in Nevada and nationally. And there was a really interesting article, we'll put it in the chat as well, along with this one from the Nevada Independent, about data centers sucking up so much energy, creating heat islands wherever they are. So that's on CNN today as well. So not only is it, taking a tremendous amount of resources away from Nevadans in our power grid, and so much so we're having to cut energy from Lake Tahoe now, it is also potentially sucking up a lot of water, sucking up a lot of power, sucking up a lot of energy, and it's also creating a lot of heat. So now everything around it is getting hotter. One of the things there was a woman who testified during this hearing last week, and we'll put the link to the Nevada legislature website in there. So if you want to go watch this hearing, it was an all-day hearing, but if you want to go watch this hearing, you should. And if you want to learn more about this, you absolutely should watch that hearing because it really was a deep dive into like what is happening with these data centers across the state. But one of the things that this woman testified about is that she already has a data center near her home. And because of the way they have to cool the water, right? Because there's water in there that has to cool everything down. They have to use diesel generators. So the data centers itself, where they store the data, that is what's sucking up the energy from the grid, from NV Energy. But to cool the water, they have to use diesel generators, which are constantly running day and night. So this woman is backed up against one of these data centers, and the amount of noise it's causing is like way beyond the healthy dose of noise that a human should have constantly. So now, not only is there water issues because you suck up a tremendous amount of water, and basically these data centers are like, we pinky promise we're going to use regenerative systems so that we're not using as much water, and it's sucking up a tremendous amount of energy. On top of it, it is creating all of this noise pollution for the neighbors that are around these data centers. They're not good. This is not a good thing. So here we are.
I don't even know what to say to that.
It's not good. Look at, and I know Nevada's always in a hurry in the hustle of trying to get new industries here, trying to be innovative, trying to bring, new people here because we're so desperate for business and industry, or so desperate to diversify our economy. But like, at what cost is what we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's upsetting that there's that this article wasn't brought up, because we're going to affect people that live in Nevada, that also, like, if you know what Lake Tahoe is and what it looks like to live there, like, it's not easy, especially in the winter, especially maybe now the summers, now that it's getting hotter thanks to the data centers. And so we're just going to make life extra difficult for these people by Nevada Energy saying peace out, and also putting these data centers in that make it difficult for all the environment just generally. And I don't mean like tree hugging environment, like to live in, like hearing, sound, heat.
Right.
Yeah.
So
put me next to a lithium mine next.
Well, that's probably coming too. So this article from the Indy, I cannot talk today. I am exhausted. Says the data centers have driven up requests to triple the company's peak capacity. These are unprecedented times, he said during a panel discussion of the centers, adding, "We are excited to serve this load, but we cannot impact our existing customer base." Sounds like you already are.
Yeah. Sounds like y'all don't give a shit.
For those of you who are nerds like Maria and I, this is something you need to watch as we move into legislative session. This is going to be one of the hottest topics in legislative session. As a reminder, for those of you who watch weekly, we are in what's called the interim, which is the time between legislative sessions, right? So we're in election season now, whatever. But the interim is where they have all these committee hearings where they hear a bunch of the stuff. They do a lot of the work to get ready for legislative session, because we only have 120 days during legislative session. So a lot of this has to get done in the interim. So I encourage you, go back and watch that hearing. It's a long one, but even if you just watch parts of it, it's really important. And do your homework on this data center issue, because it's going to be a huge topic as we move into the next legislative session. And it could have dramatic impacts on a lot of the things that we all care about. Water consumption, water access here in Southern Nevada, power, noise, heat, right? Heat mitigation, all of these things that we are caring more and more about, especially with climate change. And these data centers are sucking up so much energy. But we also have a state that needs more revenue and needs to diversify our economy, but at what expense? And so that's why people need to be paying attention to this issue.
Yeah. Yeah. And another increase to the urgency of you out there getting involved and, like Annette said, watching this hearing and contacting your legislators. Like, if you think one way, contact your legislators, find out who they are, because our legislators need to hear from you. And I know that sounds cliche, but here in Nevada, they basically do this as, I don't want to say a hobby, but they barely get paid. Yeah, they're basically volunteers, and they don't get to spend all day on this stuff. So they don't get to do the research that they should or want to do. They get to hear from the people that talk to them. And usually the people that are in their ear are the people that have the capacity, the money, and the time to be it. So if you have even like 5 minutes just to drop an email, send a snail mail or a tweet or a call, do it, because a lot of them throughout our history, Annette, have said, I've changed my mind, or I thought about this because of someone that called me or sent me an email and it made me think. So do it, please. And do it now.
Speaking of, for the next topic, the man who lived in the car. That's why we have a stadium.
I wonder if he's still living there in the car.
I don't know. You might have a new stadium soon. We can talk about that too.
Oh my God.
Speaking of stadiums, let's talk about them bringing the NFL is bringing back the Super Bowl to Las Vegas, and our elected officials are really celebrating this, Maria. They're really celebrating this shit.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing Twitter now. Everybody from Shelley Berkeley to the governor are like, woo, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl number 2.
Like we didn't
Maria,
have
if you
one
build it, they
already.
will come. If you build it, they will come.
Listen,
But here's what I will say about it. Here's
I-
what I will say.
uh-huh.
Wouldn't it be nice if we had a live entertainment tax that actually would like apply to that stadium so that we
Yeah.
could like really get revenue from the Super
Mhm.
Bowl coming back to Las Vegas? Wouldn't that be
Mhm.
great?
It would be good, especially since the public is the one paying.
Putting
And
bill,
they
dealing with the traffic.
Yeah, and the history with these stadiums is that, it's all fine and good for like the first few years, and then like 20 years later, 25 years later, when the stadium's old and wrinkly and whatever, the Raiders are like, you know what? I don't like it anymore. I don't like the city anymore. I gotta go. Thanks. Keep paying the bill, please, but I'm leaving. And we, for whatever reason, like for example, St. Louis, in Miami, many other cities, Oakland, are saying, wait, we don't have enough money, or we have to find money elsewhere to pay this gigantic bill because these stadiums aren't cheap. So I know that many people are going to glorify and say, look at this. It's going to bring in tourism. It's going to bring in so much. It's an economic success. Yeah, no, the economic success or lack thereof that people are talking about is long term, 25 years down the line, 30 years down the line. Because I'm sure when the St. Louis Rams sold their stadium idea back in the day, the people of St. Louis were like so excited. And now they don't even have the team no more. But they have the stadium and the bill to pay for.
So let's talk about the live entertainment tax for a minute. Back in like 2005, it was implemented. Since then, it's been updated. The last time it looks like was October 1, 2015, when that next kind of round was implemented. The live entertainment tax, we call it the LET, is a 9% tax applied to tickets, food, refreshments, and merchandise at venues of 200 or more that provide live entertainment. This tax is supposed to apply to concerts, shows, and some sporting events, typically in casinos or nightclubs. Here's the problem. Everybody and their mom has been exempted out of the live entertainment tax to get them to come. So, a lot of times when you're going to these concerts or sporting events or you're going to certain venues, they've exempted themselves out of the live entertainment tax. So we are not getting that revenue. And when they tell you, oh, we're going to bring billions of dollars to our economy, blah, 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 even more entertainment tax, the NFL, nobody the money.
Because
Why should
Annette,
I foot the bill? Stop being dumb when you're building things.
because the poor Raiders,
If somebody's buying a Raiders ticket, they're already paying all these fees and licensing fees, and like there's a lot of nonsense that goes into NFL tickets. Google it.
That's for the
Another
poor
live
NFL and
entertainment tax
Ticketmaster, Annette.
of 9% is not going to break the bank for if you can afford an NFL ticket.
Annette, your poor fat woman brain can't understand this.
Your simplistic, fat, feeble mind, Annette.
You don't
Doesn't
understand. You don't understand the galaxy brain.
Billionaires and millionaires who go to the Super Bowl can't possibly afford a 9% live entertainment tax.
Oh.
Those poor, defenseless billionaires and millionaires who are just flying in and going to the Super Bowl.
Think about them, please.
I'm going to think about that. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck
No one
the school
does.
children. Who's gonna fucking think about the millionaires and billionaires?
Fuck them kids.
God. Anyways, that's the live entertainment tax, everyone. So, speaking of, this morning I saw a tweet while we're on stadiums, and I'm ranting about stadiums because you know my love of fucking publicly funded stadiums. Basketball commissioner, the NBA basketball commissioner said this morning, yeah, we're gonna have to see because we approved this expansion team to Las Vegas, but I just don't know if they could play at T-Mobile Arena. I just don't know if it can handle it. If an NHL hockey team can play there, whatever fucking garbage team is recruited to play here,
It can
will
play
be able
there.
to play.
Yeah, come on.
And BT Dubs, when they get to play at T-Mobile, then our Las Vegas Aces, the female basketball team, the
Yep.
only team who wins in Mark Davis's franchises, should be able to play there too.
Mm-hmm.
But I suspect, methinks old NBA commissioner has seen Nevada's history with wanting to build new shiny stadiums for shitty teams and is like, ooh, I can get myself a new stadium. The A's got one and they suck. The Raiders got one and they suck. The Knights built their own because they don't suck, even though they axed their coach over the weekend. It's fine. But anyways, the NBA commissioner's like, ooh, I can get myself a new shiny stadium. And I won't have to share with an NHL team.
Yeah, the NBA literally is looking at us going, I see a sucker.
Yeah.
I see
People
a
are whores.
Yeah, it's like when the scammers are calling through and they get like the one sucker and they start celebrating because they're gonna get this scam in. That's what they're thinking. They're like, I got this bitch, boy. Good job,
And,
Nevada.
you know, they're still talking about a movie studio deal. So they're going to look at that stadium and be like, well, another stadium, a third stadium is cheaper than building the movie studio. That's the good deal. We should do that for temporary jobs.
Did we just say temporary again?
Listen, Linda.
When can we have permanent jobs?
That requires forethought and energy.
Yeah, and like
that requires real work, Maria.
Long-term planning, maybe meeting more than twice a
I
year.
was with somebody talking about this, and I was like, and they are the ones who said it. And they're like, listen, if we're going to be funding construction jobs like every other session, and we're basically doing these like, jobs that are like Hoover Dam, right? Putting Americans back to work, putting Nevadans back to work. If that's what we're doing, if we're going to do a jobs program every other session, then put them to work on the fucking roads or something. Have them build something productive.
Yeah. Put them all over Durango.
A public transportation system that works. Do something that's like good for Nevadans.
Yeah. It's like that Seinfeld episode where Costanza says, just have the cops start sweeping the streets if they have nothing to do. Just like have them start sweeping the streets. Just have them cleaning the strip or something. Something.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that was depressing. Okay. All right, moving on from stadiums. What's up next? Colorado River. Maria, dive into the bottom of the lake.
Speaking about water, Nevada, and this is in the Review Journal, we will put this in there because also another big issue is that the state of Nevada vows to fight like hell if Colorado River share is unfairly cut, which is the ongoing conversation of, yes, I'm using an ad blocker, Review Journal. Don't yell at me about that. Also, so if people aren't nerds and they haven't been following this, there hasn't been a deal reached for every 20 years. The states that share the water from the Colorado River agree on what their share is going to be for the next 20 years. We're not doing that anymore. We're trying to figure out a short-term plan because we don't know what's going to be around or not for 20 years or in 20 years. So because we've had the worst snow season, there's like less and less water in there. They're trying to figure out a short-term plan. Only issue is all the states are fighting for their share, and Nevada, and this is where I agree with the state of Nevada, is regardless of who's in charge, is Nevada has been one of the only states who has taken a lot of steps to actually conserve and recycle water and repurpose water. Data centers hit up the Southern Nevada Water Authority. They know a lot about repurposing water. And yet a lot of states don't do that and want either the share that they have now or more. And Nevada's saying, no, you don't get to cut our share when we're actually living out here in the desert, landlocked, looking at you, California, and have been doing all that we can to actually try and conserve water. I mean, the whole data centers issue now is gonna maybe kind of not show that we care a lot about water, but before that, we've been doing a lot. And so Nevada is now saying, hold up short-term plan, all other states. We need to really talk about who's pulling their weight in conserving the water of the Colorado River before we start cutting shares.
So, for those of you who are not giant nerds like I am, who took water policy in college, because, hello, the issue of our day, we live in the desert, Nevada has always not gotten our fair share of water because someone from Carson City back in the 80s negotiated our water rights away when we became a state and never got the right amount of shares for Southern Nevada. And on top of that, we did not have the population when all of this nonsense started. And there was actually water in the Colorado River when it all started, and there wasn't a lake and things like that. So we didn't have anything to fight over really then. But as Mark Twain once said, whiskey is for drinking and water is for fighting over. And that is true as it was when he said it today. And so this will continue to be an issue because Nevada has, as Maria said, has done the work, has put in the time, has put in the energy to really try to get our fair share of water now, since it was never properly negotiated at the beginning. And yeah, we're going to continue fighting over it, as Mark Twain said, because if we don't, we are not going to be sustainable here in Southern Nevada or really in Northern Nevada either. And we're going to have big problems here in the future. So stay tuned. We need our water.
No, Annette, you know what the real problem is? Illegals voting. That's the real problem of the day. Screw your water. Well, what's next? More fun news, right?
I do. What's next? So today I was in my usual group chats talking to some of my writer friends, my writer winger friends, because I do have those. And I got a message that Laura Loomer, Crazy Pants Laura Loomer, had tweeted about some of our Republican friends here in the state of Nevada. So I'd like to read some of those tweets because they are hilarious and we will put them up so all of you can see them, because this apparently is going to be the litmus test. Now, Maria, while I'm finding these tweets, can you explain James Settlemyre and our history with James Settlemyre and the fact that he's running for Congressional District 2 since Mark Amodei vacated the seat?
Yes, Settlemyre. If you've been to the legislature, he's the one with the hat. Wait.
No.
Yeah.
He's a rancher from rural Nevada.
He's a rancher, so he's not one of those people that's hat without a ranch or a cat. Like, he actually walks the walk. And his last office that he held legislatively was senator, and Republican, disagreed with him a lot of things, agreed with him on some things. Like, there was an AIDS bill and like a pharmacy bill that he created, I believe, that we agreed with him on. And at our former employer, that same night when our organization testified in favor in that hearing, he saw you doing a live stream for us, and he tipped his hat at you. And I was like, that's a real fucking cowboy.
Game recognizes game.
Game recognizes game. So Settlemyre, one of the Republicans out there, with my respect, tip my hat.
Yeah, we'll never vote for him occasionally. Yeah. But today, he has my respect because Laura Loomer loomered him today. And that makes him great in my book. Because if you are not crazy enough for Laura Loomer to love you, I tip my hat at you, Jim Settlemyre. Good job. Okay, so here's the actual tweet.
Been there.
Anyways, it's real. I'm reading from a real thing from Laura Loomer's Twitter. All right, new. Attention, Nevada. Governor of Nevada, Joe Lombardo, at Joe Lombardo, because she doesn't know how to tweet like Donald Trump, just endorsed a rhino who doesn't believe there was any election fraud in Nevada during the 2020 presidential election. What? Because there wasn't. There actually wasn't, Laura.
Actually wasn't.
Former Nevada State Senator James Settlemyre has quite a history of embracing leftist policies. Yeah, that's James. He's a real leftist.
No, he's not.
This is concerning now that James Settlemyre is running for U.S. Congress in Nevada's 2nd Congressional District, a toss-up district that could very well decide the control of the United States House of Representatives. I mean, maybe. Settlemyre's social media posts reveal he doesn't believe there was any election fraud in Nevada. No, I'm not rereading that part. She repeated it again. Settlemyre's social media post revealed that he doesn't believe there was any election fraud in Nevada during the 2020 presidential election. So wait, so there was election fraud during 2020, but not in 2024. 2024 was fine because Trump won. Yeah. In 2021, Settlemyre quoted a post was no fraud in the 2020 election, writing, now that the Secretary of State has completed her investigation, who, by the way, was a Republican. Let us remind you, Barbara Sagafsky in 2021 was a Republican.
Yep.
Let's focus on the 2022 election. Settlemeyer, who also reposted an article about those who stood for election integrity during the 2020 election being indicted, and he agreed with the description of them as fake electors, because that's what they were. President Trump has stressed the fact that standing for election integrity is one of the most important issues, and it's an absolute must for any GOP candidate who is seeking out his endorsement. Receipts. And then proceed to literally show James Settlemeyer and reposting the Review Journal, which is hardly like a liberal rag in this state.
Nope.
He's also retweeting my dear friend Greg Baylor, who happens to be Jim Settlemeyer's campaign manager, by the way, in this current election. To which I texted Greg Baylor. I was like, well, this is awesome.
How does
And
Greg
then-
Baylor feel about being a crazy leftist now?
It's like, Greg, you are literally all over Laura Loomer's Twitter account. This is awesome. You're my hero today. Yeah, I don't think he thought it was as funny as I did. But yeah, and then she showed Joe Lombardo's endorsement of James Settlemeyer down here, which to me, like, that's actually the worst part. I wouldn't want Joe Lombardo endorsing me. But anyways, yes, two big leftists, James Settlemeyer, Joe Lombardo, two big lefties. So there was another one then. So I'm like trying to find this, and I go through and I'm like, holy crap, there's a second one. This lady's on fire today. Apparently, she says, James Settlemeyer's voting record in the Nevada State Senate is horrific. That's another long one. You're going to fucking love this. Settlemeyer pushed radical DEI race and gender quotas with SB 267 in 2021 and created the woke Office of New Americans with SB 538 in 2019 that put illegal immigrants before American citizens, voted to give driver's licenses to illegal aliens with SB 303 in 2013, and voted to expand red flag gun confiscation laws with SB 6 in 2020.
No, let me defend Settlemeyer's honor here. He did none of that.
Apparently he voted for all of it.
And by the way, none of the legislation that he voted for did any of that. You fucking liars. Oh my God.
I mean, the Office of New Americans was great, but like it didn't do any of that.
It didn't put anyone before anyone.
Literally, it just gave them some representation to have a voice. With a voting record and social media record like Settlemeyer's, why would any elected official, much less President Trump, endorse him? Shame on Nevada's so-called Republican governor, Joe Lombardo, for endorsing Settlemeyer for Congress in Nevada's 2nd Congressional District. Nevada deserves better than another washed-up rhino. Okay, so there's a lot there, because Laura Loomer is batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I thank God she is on their side and not on our side, because, whew, that is a level of crazy I don't ever want to have to deal with. But to call James Settlemeyer a lefty is hardly the truth. And once in a while, he was reasonable.
Yeah.
I would say James Settlemeyer is a normal Republican in today's day and age. He's not heinous like Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You could talk to him. You could reason with him. He's not a horrible individual. But to sit here and think that James Settlemeyer will not toe the fucking line for Donald Trump is delusional. He is going to do what he's got to do when he gets to Washington, D.C. Come on.
Yeah. He's
not a leftist.
He's a Republican. True and true.
Yeah. Occasionally got some shit right.
Yeah.
Wasn't a heinous individual to work with.
And you know what? I think that's why bitch ass crazy Laura Loomer is losing her fucking shit, because guess what? He's not a fucking psychopath.
Because God forbid Nevada potentially elect a normal Republican.
Yeah.
Here's the other part of this that I find interesting. Methinks this is, what do they call them? A virtue signal? Is that what the right calls it?
Virtue signaling,
Methinks Crazy Pants is virtue signaling what's Donald Trump. That's what methinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, she put in all the keywords, right? All the trigger words for the snowflakes. She put in woke. She put in leftist. She put in fake electors. She put in immigrants. She put illegals. She put driver's licenses. It's like she had ChatGPT just
What
come
will
up.
Donald love?
Yeah. Yeah. Help me trigger him and all the snowflakes in my world. Go. And it spit that out.
So anyways,
Wow.
yeah,
Well,
really
I
something.
hope. Well, welcome, James Settlemeyer. Tip our hats to you, new woke
You've
leftist,
left you.
apparently. No, and that, you see, that's what's wrong with the fucking political discourse. That, man, look at me out here defending James Settlemeyer's honor. Last week, I agreed with Ted Cruz. Now I'm over here defending James Settlemeyer, like Shield maiden.
Yeah, he's going to text us for sure. What are you
Yo!
two doing? You're defending. And again, listen, I'm not defending James Settlemeyer. Let's be very
No.
fucking clear here. Because I don't want this coming up being like, send it to Teresa Benitez Thompson and tell her that Annette. No.
No.
Annette can't vote in CD2. But if
No.
she could, she would be voting for probably Teresa Benitez Thompson, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole ass Democratic primary happening there first.
Right.
And then whoever wins that, I would be voting for the Democrat. Like, let's
Yeah.
be very, very, very clear.
Yeah, and we also need to be very clear, and this is where I would defend James Settlemeyer in the discourse, the like illegitimate discourse on his record. He did none of those things, and he's actually a party man, but he's also like and that's why it was like amazing when he came up with certain things that, or decisions or statements because either it impacted someone in either his life or his district, and he was reasonable in some way or would ask a reasonable question. I love how a lot of people will be on social media or will complain that everybody why can't we just get along and both sides? You're literally doing that to someone right now because he's someone that has worked. You can pull up his actual legislative record and you can see that he actually voted across party lines, but it wasn't to do all that crazy shit. It was for reasonable common sense laws that helped Nevadans. And God forbid that's what.
It's not a reasonable common sense human being, Maria.
No, she illegally got herself into an employee entrance at the Mandalay Bay, remember? After the 1 October shooting.
She's
illegal.
nuts. Like, kooky. Totally kooky. So, anyways, here we are. All right, well, we'll put those tweets in the chat because, dear sweet baby Jesus.
Man,
Kooky.
lost more brain cells.
Let's go to WTF is happening in the world. There's a lot of crazy shit happening in the world too, Maria.
No, there's not. Everything is fine.
Let's go home for you for a minute. Let's go to Spain.
Yeah.
Let's talk to your Spaniards for a minute. See what they're up to.
The prime minister that the world needs in this moment.
He's really great.
He is fucking amazing. Well, there was an announcement today that Spain closed its airspace to U.S. planes that are involved in the Iran war. More countries should do this. More countries should do this. I just love the giant cojones that the Spanish government is having right now. Fourth world. And I know that some of the European Parliament is like clutching their pearls because sometimes they're just afraid of Trump. But man, good job. And you can tell that this is getting to real people because Americans are sending the prime minister letters to thank him because they don't have a president to write letters to. So good job. I might send him a letter. I might be like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, truly.
Save us. Yeah. And their boats get to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Everything is fine.
So that's in Reuters today, and so we'll put that in the chat so you can read more about Spain giving Donald Trump the finger. All right, Kash Patel. So Prancy Dancy Kash Patel. I don't know if you saw the video of him prancing and dancing. That was one of the things leaked by the email breach that happened that was exposed over the weekend that I was dying laughing about.
Spider Cash!
Yeah, apparently he loves porn, which, I mean, that's not really a shock if you've seen Kash Patel. But yeah, there's a lot of things that were breached, and the Economic Times, this article, goes through 10 of the things that were leaked by Iran in his personal email account, and it was photographs, documents, historical records, online and what officials describe as a hack and leak operation. I wish they could hack and leak those epstein files. That would
Yeah.
really be great. So, Maria, what were some other things other than Prancy Dancy, Cash Patel video, and his Pornhub name? What else was leaked in this large data breach?
Oh, he traveled to not only Haiti, but Cuba and
Oh,
smoked cigars.
oh yes, there was the one of him sniffing the cigar.
Weird how he went to enjoy a country that we're currently trying to take over and and also, I mean, the spider cash is just ridiculous. Because what is that name for? The biggest, I think, issue also is the FBI is kind of responsible for counterintelligence within the US and and to make sure that we don't have people like spying on our
Hacking
government
people's emails,
officials.
spying on us, spying on elected officials, getting sensitive information.
um yeah, they also got his
It's very important.
they also that he held a non-residential external account with an Indian bank. Also that he belongs to a lot of like Telegram groups that are like Russian disinformation distribution channels. I read that somewhere. Weird.
He's got apartment searches, travel and flight records, family and personal life images published. So all his personal shit was just exposed to the world.
That is our director of the FBI, who one of their main
I
objectives is
truly
counterintelligence.
feel safer. Yeah. Cash Patel's in charge. I truly feel safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Don't you?
Yeah,
Don't you?
no, thank you, Cash Patel, for your service. Jesus, fuck.
Thanks, Spider Cash.
Thanks,
You
Spider
porn
Cash.
addict. Dear Iran, I
Mhm.
am going to need you to hack the Epstein files
Mhm.
or Donald Trump's email. Either one will
Mhm.
work because we know it's all there. Also, anything else that we need to know? Aliens, that would be good because they're still
Yep.
withholding some information there. Also, I was told that you would be wiping out all credit card debt. I know a lot of Americans, including myself, would be very thankful if you did that. So I'm really hoping, Iran, if you could just jump on those things, that would be great.
Yeah, yeah. After the third installment of the Lego videos, please help us with all of those things.
Cool. I mean, just
Another
the level, like Donald Trump finally met another country who's like on his level of like dumb trolling.
yeah, they were like,
Crazy town.
you want to meet the people that invented empires? Here we go, motherfucker.
Okay. And then GOP leaders plan to keep Congress out of session even as pressure to end DHS shutdown grows. Now, keep in mind, Lindsey Graham is currently at the Magic Kingdom in Florida. So he's at Disney World.
Ooh, good for her.
TMZ's out there trolling these congressional members. And to be fair to TMZ, they are doing a bipartisan job of the trolling. And I appreciate that, right?
Both,
Like,
yeah.
I don't love TMZ, but in this moment, good on ya. I'm glad you're trolling while our government does nothing.
Yep.
But GOP leaders are truly the problem because they're the ones in charge of the government. They hold a trifecta. They hold all three chambers, the presidency,
No,
the
they
House of
don't.
Representatives, and the Senate. And the way that works is they control the agenda, friends. So they're
No,
the
they
ones who shut
don't.
down Congress.
It's the Democrats cock blocking them
Yes.
because they want the illegals to vote in it. That's the real problem.
So CNN put this out today, for those of you who actually believe like CNN. GOP leaders plan to keep Congress out of session, even as pressure to end DHS shutdown grows. Maria, why are they planning to keep us out? So they can blame the Democrats? Methinks?
I think there's something going on this year called an election. And so it's like the little tiny person in charge, Johnson especially in the House, looked at a calendar and said, you know what we should do? Is just keep pushing this so that people get angrier.
And just keep us out so we can't take any other votes.
Yeah. And then, you know, what we do is we come up with some kind of message. Like we wait for like the Russian bots or whatever to send us whatever message guidance we need here. And we're going to blame it.
Since we know it exists officially in Cash Patel's emails.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have Spider Cash because he's our go-to, he's our messenger. Spider Cash is going to tell us what the Russian Telegram channel say on how we blame this on the Democrats and the illegals, and then we can come back in session. That's the real tea. They say it's because they probably, I don't know, have to go back to their districts or whatever. Y'all are not. Y'all are going to go on vacay.
So Congress continues to do nothing. That's the moral of that story. All right, well, we're coming up on the end. Let's go to our hot takes and headaches. Maria, what's your hot take?
Let's see. My hot take for this week, let's see, man, it would have to be that sometimes I'm trying to come up with something that's totally not newsy or political at all. Oh, yeah. My hot take this week is that sometimes not only do people need to touch grass, but if you have a dog, take them out for a walk with no phone or nothing. Things will feel right in the world because they don't give a fuck about any of the news.
My hot take is I went to a baseball game at the Aviators complex over the weekend over by downtown Summerlin, and there's no fucking reason that the A's can't play there. It's a beautiful stadium built with private funding. I don't understand why the shitty team known as the Oakland Athletics, not the Las Vegas Athletics, the Oakland Athletics cannot play in a current stadium. By the way, the Aviators are winners. They won the championship last year. So
Actually,
if the
why don't we
Aviators are good enough to play there, the trash ass A's are good enough to play there. Why are we building them a new stadium?
Why don't we just make them the team? I don't know how the MLB works, but that sounds like they should get a promotion in the world of baseball.
My non-political hot take, because I have two, of course. My non-political hot take is good watching coming up on Bravo this week. We have a new Housewives show, a brand spanking new franchise, The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I was just watching Dolores Catania talk about these ratchet-ass queens. I am so excited to have a new Housewives franchise to watch. And Lala and the crew are back on the Valley this week. So I'm very excited about that. There was also a lot of drama over the weekend. If you watch Summer House, take a look on Instagram. Shit was blown up over the weekend. So lots going on in my Bravo universe. So that made me very happy.
Hell yeah.
And of course, I mean, I'm still reeling over the New Jersey news.
The grand return of the Grand Dames of Ratchet Piece Theater.
Only 3 of them are coming back, though. Melissa, Teresa, and Dolores. Yeah, I mean, they're the ones that matter to me.
They are the Grand Dames. Everyone else is replaceable.
True royalty. Yes.
Yeah. All
right, everyone. Well, that's the final bell. Happy Easter to those of you who celebrate. Hope you have a good Easter week. I know we're smack dab in the middle of it. For those of you like me who are raging atheists, have a great spring. I hope you're enjoying the weather other than the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got. So Maria,
I think it's Passover. I think it's Passover too. So Passover.
Yes, Wednesday. Wednesday's Passover this week. So yes.
Yeah.
Happy Passover. Can we say happy Passover? I think so.
Or hello Passover? I don't know. Tell us in the chat if you say happy Passover.
Yeah. Want to be inclusive. Ramadan just ended. So, all of the good things. All of the good spring holidays are upon us.
That was this week's Chaos and What the Fuck moments. We'll see what we have next week.
Yeah.
In between now and then, remember to like, subscribe, comment, especially if you disagree with us and you hate us. We love that. It fuels us, gives us energy. And we'll see you next recess.
All right. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy all the spring holidays, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.